I got to be honest, Joy, Shady, Dave, I'm surprised. Y'all know I'm a Dolphins fan. I've been rocking with these Dolphins, not as long as Joy, obviously, but this season I've been rocking with them from day one. I'm surprised because Tua's been that good. Any quarterback that is number 1 in passer rating, number 3 in completion percentage, number 1 in passing yards per attempt, not named Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, I would be surprised by. And at the end of the day, Tua is number 1 in all of those categories and number 3 in completion percentage. So I got to be honest, it's surprising. It's also surprising because he has a first-year head coach, and it's surprising because he has a new number 1 wide receiver. So it is surprising to me. Look at what Derek Carr is doing in Las Vegas. He got a number 1 wide receiver in Devontae Adams. He got a first-year head coach, and they can't get right. So I am surprised, full transparency. I'm surprised. I'm pleasantly surprised. But, Joy, are you surprised by Tua's success?
No, I'm not surprised by it. I wasn't sure what Tua was going to become in this league, and I've obviously been very critical of his journey, in part because of what's gone on with the organization. But I'm not surprised by what's happening this year. I predicted that they would be better this year and that Tua would look great. Now, he looks better than I think any of us anticipated, if we're all being honest.
Yep.
No one except for Tua predicted this. So it's very impressive, especially considering everything that he's overcome, which I mentioned in the last block. But I got to say, I'm very impressed with Mike McDaniel. Because I've been watching these Dolphins for, let's say, about 25 years, give or take, I've seen a lot, including very few playoff wins. They haven't won a playoff game since the year 2000. That's 22 years ago. There are adults in my mentions who weren't alive to watch that happen. Okay? I was. So when you're talking about a first-time head coach coming into a situation, we don't really pay attention nationally to what's gone on in Miami over the years. They've been through a lot of coaches, a lot of quarterbacks, a lot of talent squandered, a lot of mistakes and missteps by the organization. So for Mike McDaniel to come into a scandal, mind you.
Yeah, right.
On one end, and then the owner being suspended, that kind of history with an organization. Tua, who the organization tried to replace 3 times, and then bring all of this together, and we talk about the Dolphins like they are a formidable contender as a first-time head coach, that's a lot to do. So I think Tua has shown that he and Mike McDaniel have a great relationship. That's good on McDaniel and Tua, but on McDaniel to build him up, to give him the confidence and back him and say this is your team, which the organization never did. To bring in pieces, to make those pieces work for him. Tua is a rhythm quarterback, to design the offense around Tua for what works for Tua and stop trying to force him to be something that he's not, has led to the success of the Dolphins and an organization that we really look at and say, no, they could actually make it to the Super Bowl and win. That, to me, is incredible.
I don't like the word surprised.
Why not?
Because it's easy, and the word I like is impressed. I'm so impressed by what Tua's doing. I don't like the word surprised because it's easy to forget. It's easy to forget where this guy has come from. After everything that he's been through, and he's been through a lot. But remember the pedigree here. I'm an SEC football fan. I've known who Tua Tagovailoa is since 2016. Like, before he ever got on a field at Alabama, people were like, I don't know how they're going to keep this kid off the field. Tank for Tua was a thing 2 whole years before he got drafted. He goes in the top 5. He was a top 5 pick. People talk about him like he's a plucky underdog. He's a top 5 pick. They drafted Jalen Waddle, who was an underrated part of Bama's success when they were winning natties. They got Tyreek Hill, who his impact speaks for itself. They went and got him one of the best left tackles in football in Teron Armstead. And to reiterate what Joy just said, Mike McDaniel was one of my favorite candidates of the last coaching cycle. Like, everything that he did for San Francisco, with the schemes they ran, particularly, ironically, what they did in the running game was always so impressive to me. So they surrounded this guy with incredible resources. I'm not surprised. I'm surprised by the Seahawks. I'm surprised by the Giants. I'm impressed that Tua is as talented as he is. They gave him the talent to do it, and he took it and ran with it. He deserves all the credit for that, but I'm not surprised.
I'm surprised. I got to be honest. I didn't know he can play this good, right? I mean, they benched him for Ryan Fitzpatrick. Like there was so many rumors every other week how they're trying to trade him. They want to get Deshaun Watson, the front office with the coach. It was like a lot going on. So, and one thing about football is, like, you see this player when you draft a player, you see him every day. I see him his best days, his bad days, his worst days. I see him at practice. I see him in the film room. I see him on game day. So you see him, and then I keep hearing these rumors how you want to trade him. So I'm like, well, he can't be that good. In his first 2 years, he barely averaged, 200 yards passing? But he's came a long way, and he looks great. I mean, watching him on tape, he looks smart. He looks sure of himself, he looks confident. He's very accurate. So I'm happy for Tua. I'm happy he's doing well, but I got to be honest, I didn't know this. I didn't know he could play this good.
And how could you be confident when they're constantly trying to replace you?
Yeah.
Correct.
And he used to answer some questions like, well, how do you feel about that? And he would be like he didn't know what to say. So I gave him a lot of credit for that. That takes a lot.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.